everybody. It's me, Maris. Here's a little smudge for you. I know it's before 5 o'clock. But here, we all need a little smudge today just to kind of raise that vibration. It's Thursday. And sometimes by Thursday, we're already exhausted in our head. Yeah. So sometimes we just need a little bit of a smudge. So I smudged. I got the Spellcasting Deck here. And that's the deck that I'm going to use today. I don't know. I don't like the Earth Magic deck. I don't know why. I mean, I used to like it. But I don't know. I just don't like it anymore. I don't know. I got to go and find me some new decks. I guess me and Amazon are going to have an intimate couple of hours as I research some decks and look them up and bring them in. So I don't know, I might have another deck swap. I like doing those, like a crystal and tarot card deck or oracle card deck trade swap. Okay, alright, so there's a couple right there. Don't go anywhere. I'm not going too far. Okay. Let's see if we've got any more cards to add to the message. So today's Thursday. Has anybody been participating in my 21-day Reiki challenge to bring wellness in? And if so, how is it going for you? Have you noticed anything different or new about you or anything that's going on around in your life? Reiki helps us to heal from the inside out. And so with that in mind, okay, I think we got enough cards. We should be experiencing some pretty ding-dang good healing. Okay, let me reach down here. And we got a whole bunch of cards here. So grab your snack, whether it be your favorite snack. Dunkin' Donuts is here for me today. Grab your snack, your latte, your tea, your wine, whatever you're doing this afternoon, and let's start with the cards. It's really kind of interesting here because we've got the closure card and you see it's upside down. So the energy coming in is talking about a lot of loose ends. A lot of loose ends. And you're going, how do you get that? How do you get that there's a lot of loose ends? And I'll just say, when I'm looking at it, I'm seeing several trees or lines. And so I'm interpreting as in we've got some great big things that we haven't put closure to. And then I see a lot of littler lines, so there's a lot of little things, little minutiae. So this is talking about us carrying in this energy that's coming through that we're carrying in and we're holding on to things that really we should be working or could be working on their closure or, detaching from it, but we're kind of hanging on. Some things are big, such as what we're seeing here on the sides, and then we've got a bunch of little things. So this is talking about the energy coming in, saying that we've got a lot of loose ends that we need to be working on. Okay, loose ends that we need to be working on. Now, because there's so many cards, the second card when I'm doing my readings is always going to be about the obstacle, the thing that kind of holds us back or causes us to stop and really think about what's going on. And the obstacle here is clarity. Clarity is going to have a lot of reference to the way that we understand things. So when I'm looking at that clarity card and it's like blatantly there in front of us that we're looking at things that we need or are going to be working on that we need to create a closure or a detachment with. And the clarity card is saying, and it'll be pretty ding dang obvious to us what we need to work on. It will be very obvious to us what we need to work on. So that's a really kind of interesting energy when you're thinking about it. It's like, okay, great. Now, the energy is going to be bringing in this vibe, and that vibe is going to be handed to me on a silver platter. I will not be able to deny the existence of these issues, the existence of these experiences. But now I'm going to be placed into this, not obstacle, but into this place where I'm going to have to make some magic with it. I'm going to have to make some choices in these things that are going to be brought to my attention, or like we've been in denial that they're there, and now they're going to be so blatantly in our face we can't deny. So it's kind of like, now we're going to have to address the elephant in the room. Okay, and so you're going to feel a little nervous, and you know what, it's okay. Hey Heather baby, it's okay to feel a little nervous. You're not alone. That's the most important thing to remember, is you're not alone. Now, if clarity was my hindrance or my obstacle, and that's like having to realize things, grieving is going to be my help. All right, and grieving is going to be my help, going to be your help, it's going to be the help. And you're like, grieving sucks. Nobody likes to grieve. No, nobody likes to grieve. I don't want to grieve. You don't want to grieve. Neither one of us wants to grieve. But we have to go through this process in our emotions. Exactly. We have to go through this process in our emotions, that we can take that insult, that tragedy, that trauma, that heartbreak, and be able to work through it in our emotions, in our spirit, clearing it out of our physical space. And grief is going to be a part of that when we have to let things go. When we have to let something go out of our vibration, it is natural and normal to grieve. And even though it may be something that's very negative that we're letting go of, like a bad relationship, a sucky job, something to that effect, a toxic family member, but we're still going to grieve for that connection, because at one point there was a connection. At one point, there was a good vibe. So we're grieving, and we're going to have to go through that, and it's a normal, natural process. And allow that grieving to occur. Allow that grieving to occur. Now, what I really love, and I was talking about this for the last couple of days, there's been a lot of energy coming in about forgiveness. There has been a lot of energy coming in that is focusing and looking at forgiveness and our ability, desire, motivation, and following through with the act of forgiveness. So I'm going to put it to us a little bit like this. So some of us have been living in this vibration where we're holding a lot of resentment. We might be holding resentment for things of our past, like when we were growing up and the way our childhood went. We might be grieving or going through or carrying on this resentment of relationships that ended, friendship, and that's including friendships. Sometimes you can be invested in a friendship with someone and things turn sour, and, it's like a big issue in your spirit. Okay, but when we're looking at forgiveness, when we're looking at forgiveness, first and foremost, we have to work on forgiving ourselves for allowing ourselves to become entangled and embraced in a negative minutia. Our self-forgiveness is first and foremost. If we cannot forgive ourselves for things that occur, how can we forgive other people? Because we're not living in that vibration of forgiveness, that we're choosing to hold on to that anger and resentment. So forgiveness, first and foremost, has to start from within. And so when we are working with these vibrations from within, we're really truly embracing our own healing journey. And that's what our life purpose is to be on a journey, to be our best authentic human vibration that we can be. Okay, so whatever, some of us have specific things that we want to roll with, and then others of us, we're not so specific. It's just for today, I want to do this, or just for today, I want to do that. So kind of think of it in this aspect. And so just for today, what can you forgive? Just for today, what are you ready to let go of? Just for today, what are you ready to say, I am sorry for? And just for today, what are you ready just to even make a blanket I'm sorry statement for? 2 or 4 on that. It's like, I think about that show, God, what is it? My Name is Earl, I think it was what it was, and it was about the guy who goes back to everybody that he's had a transgression against, that he's hurt their feelings or whatever, and he's got to go and apologize to all of these people, and places and things and etc. Sometimes that's the way that we need to go through our forgiveness. But first and foremost, beautiful people, learn to forgive yourself. Because you really, truly cannot forgive others if you're having difficulties forgiving yourself. First and foremost, you got to take care of you. You are the number one priority for you, because nobody else can be a priority if you're not taking care of your own vessel. And that means that sometimes we have to ask for forgiveness. All right. So right over in here, and I'm laughing, and I'm like, because we're just talking about forgiveness and how forgiveness will move us. Okay, why are we choosing to be resistant to asking for forgiveness? Because this is what I'm looking at in here. No, you're not ready to move. You're not ready to transform. You're not ready to change because you're still struggling on self. You're still struggling on self. And if you haven't been working on self, you're not going to change. You are not going to move forward. You are going to be, flapping those butterfly wings and staying in the same place. You're not going to move. You're not going to change. So in here, when we're talking about this forgiveness, and I'm going to say this means movement, washing it away and clearing it out. And then when I see this transformation card upside down, I'm like, so here's the problem. You're not ready to forgive yourself. You're not ready to work on yourself. So you're staying in kind of running in the, what is that thing called? The hamster's wheel, the wheel that a hamster runs in, or running on a treadmill. And yeah, you went 15 miles on that treadmill, but you're still in the same place. So you did a lot of work, but you didn't move forward. And that's what this is talking about in here. I was like, grandmothers are over here, and I've got that one. I'm going to have to figure out what her name is, but she goes by grandmother. And she's over here, and she's kind of laughing. And she said, talk is cheap. We all say that we want to do something, but we have difficulties getting to that point. And most of the time it's because we don't believe that we're worthy, or that we're good enough, or we deserve to have cool, groovy things going on in our life. And that's just not true. We deserve to have cool, groovy things going on in our life. Let's take a look at the next card. Willpower. All right, so willpower is strength, courage, determination, motivation, and this is all in reference to you moving. It's in reference to this lack of movement that we experience here. It's due to this little, we're getting a kick in the butt that's saying, hey, you need to start loving on yourself. You need to start forgiving yourself. You need to start giving yourself hugs. Do you ever kiss yourself in the mirror? And you're like, oh, Maris, please. And I'm like, no, I probably wouldn't like tongue myself on the mirror, but kiss yourself on the mirror sometimes. If you're not getting kisses from somebody else, kiss yourself on the mirror. Kiss yourself on the that reflection. You gotta love from inside out. And this is what it's kind of talking about. It's talking about we're so resistant to love ourselves. We're resistant to forgive ourselves. We're resistant to do anything that's for ourselves. We got to put everybody else first, and then we're feeling like crap. And this is saying, no, you can't be healing everybody else. You can't be taking care of everybody else. You can't forgive everybody else if you're not working on self. All right, so willpower. So yeah, when you look in the mirror and you realize that you haven't transformed into that butterfly, it's going to give you this little bit of motivation and maybe kick you in the behind a little bit so that you do move forward, so that you do start making some cool, groovy choices. And guess what? When you get on that plane, when you get on that path, when you start putting yourself first, guess what happens? Ding, 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 ding. Prosperity. And I'm laughing because I'm like, it's raining gold. It's raining men too. But don't say, yeah, I'm like, that's the song that played in my head. But things start flowing, things start coming to you. Everything starts to fall into place. And you're like, dang, where did that come from? Well, that's because you're open to receive. You start thinking, hey, I deserve this. I am worthy of this. I would love to embrace this, and now that I can. So let it roll. Let that prosperity come through and start rolling in with your vibration so that you feel that peace, love, and harmony that you're so full of. Okay, and prosperity, what I really love about prosperity is that when we're prosperous, it allows us to be prosperous and generous with others. It allows us to be prosperous and generous with others. So I'm like, it's a win-win situation. Everybody wins on that one. I love where this is going to, guys. We've got some good stuff coming up here. All right, so now we're kind of winding down. Where is all of this stuff going to lead us to? What's it going to bring in? Okay, so when we start thinking about where did we start? Where did we start in this? Okay, and we started here with things being up in the air, and that we had a lot of loose ends that we needed to tie up. And that and our obstacle being clarity, which means everything's going to be right in your face. You're going to recognize what's there that you need to work on. And that was an obstacle. Now, the help to it is the grieving. So I'm going to say when we talk about grieving and going through that grieving process, that we're actually on our path to healing. We're bringing closure and understanding to whatever those situations are that were bringing us grief, whether we lost a friend or we lost our spouse or lover or, lost our dog. And I'm like, hey, dogs, cats, critters, even my barn animals, even my chicken, that crazy chicken that I can't stand, I will grieve when she transitions. They are a part of my family. They're a part of my vibration. And just being the little quirky person that I am, I freaking talk to them and they talk back to me. So it is for me truly like another member of my family. And so when you lose a critter, when you lose your dog, that is like losing a child, losing a best friend. Don't spank yourself for crying on that, okay? Do not spank yourself. You are allowed to feel that grief. All right, so, so we're allowed to go through those processes and grieving. And then we were talking about forgiveness and how important it is for us to work for our forgiveness and to work it from the inside out. And when we choose not to do that, when we choose to ignore all of these things and keep them in denial, we get that little member transformation card upside down. We don't move forward. We're like that ding dang hamster in the wheel, or like we just ran 15 miles on the treadmill but didn't see a damn thing. Okay, so you're like running in place. You're not going anywhere. You're not moving anything. All you're doing is running in place, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then when we realize all of this good stuff, we start to get that willpower. Remember, that little kick in the behind that moves us forward. And then we're blessed when, with those prosperity, things start falling into place and being their synchronicity and their serendipity, finding the joy in the weird and random kind of things. And then all of this good growth allows us to develop this who we are and start having more defined characteristics and qualities of who we are. And with that comes that we're going to be establishing new boundaries. We are going to be establishing new boundaries. I like to refer to boundaries as my rules of engagement. So in this, you're going to have new rules of engagement that you're going to be implementing and working with, not only for your own healing and your own path and your own journey, but so that other people can be vibing, or that you will be connecting with people that you guys all vibe together. You vibe in the same direction. And I love where this leads us, guys. This leads us to this unbelievable sense of balance and wellness and confidence in who we are and what we're doing and how we're growing to be more authentic in who we are. So even though the energy coming in is going to be something a little bit on the shish, having a lot of loose ends that we've got to, either clear or tie up or whatever. So we're going to have a little bit of work in front of us. But when we go through that work and we start being diligent and true to ourselves and what our purposes, what our desires and needs are, then you know what happens? Things fall into place and we're able to verbalize what our needs are and what we will and will not accept within our own vibration. So I hope you enjoyed the reading for Thursday, kind of taking us into the weekend. So I probably will be catching up with you tomorrow. If I know me, maybe even later today. Maybe we'll do a little Reiki break later in the afternoon or after dinner. So peace, love, and harmony. Do me a real big favor. I want you to love, put the heart on this, bring it up in the algorithm, okay? Put a heart on this. Comment anything you'd like to comment. Hello, Maris. Hey, Maris, your hair looks crazy. Maris, what's that t-shirt say? Whatever, even if you feel like you need to throw me some hate, throw me some hate. I heard that hate puts me higher in the algorithm, even though I don't like it, because I wouldn't do that on your page. But if it gets me up in the algorithm without having to pay Mark Zuckerberg, I'm down. Anyway, so love, comment, and share. And let's have a groovy day. Peace.